What's going on, Nindie fans? I'm Rob from Nindie Nexus, and I'm here today with Dead Cells. It's a game I just recently reviewed, and I'm going to go ahead and spoil the review score. It's a 9.5 because it's such a good game. I've really enjoyed it. It's hard to describe, too. It's a Metroidvania-like. It's got roguelike elements that'll force you to kind of replay things over and over again. But basically, the idea of it is to just progress as far as you can each time, and along the way, pick up power-ups, pick up new weapons, pick up all sorts of stuff, pick up gold, and get better. And also, it's got the Metroidvania, you know, trappings because you also pick up new skills along the way that'll help you get farther. As in, just that right there. It was something that I picked up after beating the first boss. You can use these beanstalks to move places that you wouldn't have moved before. But the idea is really just to accumulate what I just accumulated now, which are called cells. And you can see those in the lower right. I have 3 of them now. I have 2,520 gold as well, which will help me unlock more weapons. But the cells are things that you invest at the end of each level into various weapons, various skills, various everything really. There's a few other things you can invest in. I don't want to give too much away because some of it's a little bit spoilerific, but that's the idea. And look, I picked up an ice bow. Very cool. I could move on to the toxic sewers here, but I'm not going to because I actually want to accumulate more cells, because once I get to the toxic sewers there, I will have the opportunity to invest my cells. And this first level is pretty easy, so you want to make sure to get as many cells from this particular spot before you move on. But yeah, there's so many great things about this game. You can tell the graphics are amazing. The pixels are, I think pixelated graphics are a bit overdone, especially on the indie scene right now. But my God, when you do it this well, I will take this all day, every day, because it's just fantastic. And the fluid animation is really just something that you got to appreciate, because if it weren't for how fluid things were in this game and how responsive to my controls this game was, it wouldn't be as fun, because the combat wouldn't be as fun. And this game is definitely oriented around its combat. There is a crap ton of it. In fact, that's all you do, really. There's very little platforming. There is some, but it's mostly around... It mostly revolves around taking care of a lot of enemies, sometimes like just an entire screen full of enemies at once. Here we are, we found a scroll of power, so I'm going to go ahead and take this. And what this basically does is gives me an opportunity to invest in my character for this particular playthrough. It won't carry on to the next one, but it helps me get further into the game here. And it also it's really good. It does a great job of showing me what it is that I gain from each one of these upgrades. So in this case, I could take the brutality upgrade, and in the lower left-hand corner, you can see that my weapon, my main weapon, which is the one attached to the Y, will then be improved. You can also see that my HP will be improved. I can scroll over here. You can see that my bow would be improved with an increase into tactics. Well, very, very often, you'll have other items that will fit the survival slot, or this will just also give you much more HP. So it's a really big choice, I'm not gonna lie, and it's a great way of balancing and kind of fine-tuning your character runs. This time I'm gonna pick up brutality just because I don't really have anything else, and it helped me with my little dual swords here, which I'm using to great effect. But yeah, so that's the idea. And there's a lot of things like that throughout this game. A lot of opportunities for choices that you make to fine-tune your character to make the run that you want to make. So here we go. We got some fire bombs, and again, those are red. So they're all color-coded. Earlier, when I picked up that scroll, I did invest into the brutality, which was red. So with this red upgrade that I've just been given, the grenade, that will also increase the damage that comes from that grenade as well. And here we are. We also have opportunities to pay to open gates, so we can pick up stuff like this. Now this is a purple one, which is, I think, survivability. You can either hold R to recycle it and gain some gold, or you can take it. And in this case, I'm going to take it because I like this one a lot. It provides a really cool auto fire thing. Here's a sinew slicer. It's very similar to what I just picked up, which was kind of like an auto fire crossbow, but this it shoots blades and it inflicts bleeding. It's actually, I think, in my opinion, it's better than the grenade. of course, you can always, it's a mix and match thing. You can do what you want, you can take what you want, and kind of, figure out what kind of build, what kind of character you like and what you do well with. I like these things because what I can do is just drop both the auto crossbow and the sinew slicer, and just let them do their thing. So like this. So yeah, there we go. We can just let that happen. Come through, and we'll just let the auto stuff do its thing. You have to be within a certain distance, which I really like. So you can see that there's like this little like tethering to my auto crossbow here, and that's required. I have to be within a certain distance for it to work. And that's what I really appreciate about it, is because you can't really just fire and forget. You have to be involved. You have to be invested in the combat still. So I appreciate that. And I think it's a cool little balance item, issue, thought, process, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's something that really helps with the gameplay, and there's a lot of small things like that, small little ideas, small little balance points that I really just appreciate about this game. I can come down here. That's an electric whip. I'm not particularly fond of it, but I'll take it anyways just so I can show you. We can use that instead of the beginner's bow, because I don't really use the bows very often. In fact, there's two things that I criticize this game about. One of which is that sometimes when you come through and you make a run, they are very RNG dependent. Sometimes you won't find many scrolls at all, and that kind of sucks. It makes it much more difficult. The other thing is, you get shields in this game and you get bows. I don't really use either of them, and that's probably just because of my playstyle. But it's also just, I feel like they're not really as effective. Maybe they get more effective as the game goes on. I've only got about 10 hours into this, so it's possible that I just don't know what I'm talking about, and that maybe they're like the most effective things ever, and I keep doing that, and I'm gonna it's fun to watch me just fall, isn't it? Keep that tethering there. You can see that tethering. But yeah, so it's just it might be that I just suck. And that's very possible, because I'm an old man and I'm not the best video game player ever. I do like video games quite a bit. And I think that this video game is hard not to like, because there is so much going for it. Okay. Now the cool thing is we can take a look. Oh, I don't want to do that yet. I want to actually take a look at the map here. See what I haven't explored. See where there could be more cells. We can go back over towards the right there, and I think that'll allow us to find some more enemies to fight and some more cells to accumulate, so that I can invest them in my character. So here we go. All right. Let's see, do I want any of those? So this is the wolf trap. That actually just traps the enemies that fall into it. This one here, infantry grenade, and it's like a grenade, a regular grenade. An ice grenade, it freezes its victims. As you can tell, I can't actually afford the ice grenade. None of these are particularly great. I think I've unlocked about 15, 16 weapons. It's not a lot, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a horrible video gamer, but I'm all right. And it's taken me about 10 hours to really get through some of this game. So it's difficult enough that it'll create challenge and make you think and make you react quickly, but it's also not so difficult that you will want to walk away. And what's even better is that the more you play it, the better you get, and the more upgrades and stuff you get too. So here's what I was talking about. So now we have 8 cells, as you can tell in the upper right hand corner. We can invest those into any of these to unlock them. So I really want to check out this ice bow, but this heavy crossbow too. I have an impaler. That sounds kind of cool. Let's go ahead and work towards that, actually. I'm a big red guy, like the red brutality weapons. I really like close combat in this game. It just feels very responsive and very good. And the great thing is the HD rumble for this game is perfect. It really makes me feel like I'm just slicing into things, and I love that. So if this is an opportunity to invest some money into basically modifying our weapons to increase their power, to give them cool special effects, stuff like that, that they don't come with. So let's go ahead and do that and see what happens. So inflicts a critical hit on the 3rd consecutive strike now. It also just gave me plus 50% damage. So my DPS is 346 with this bad boy. I also really like the double crossbow-matic. I'm going to invest some money into that and making it better. See what it does. Shoots at 2 nearby eyes at the same time. Each shot inflicts 65 DPS, 100% damage to a poison target. Boom! Here you go. I like this. Here we can actually also take mutations. So every time you make it through a level, you're allowed to take a mutation that will, you know, kind of give you a leg up in whatever way you want your leg up. So sometimes I take this, which is 30% or 37% cooldown time on skills for the great purple skills that I really like, the crossbows and stuff like that. So you can just drop crossbow stuff all the time, all over the place. This one's really good too. You can basically, if you die, you come back to life for once. I like this the first time because I die a lot. I'm not very good. So I take that a lot for the most part. Here we can go ahead and refill our potions. I didn't use any, so I'm surprised that it needed me to do that or wanted me to do that. But here, let's keep going. You know, I'm going to play a little bit longer. I just wanted to show you guys what this game was all about. It doesn't need to be super long, but there's just so many good things about this game. You can check out the written review on nindienexus.net. I think you will understand, based on just the video that I'm showing you here, how great this game is. It is a game that's going to require a little bit of patience, especially for the first few hours. It does take a little while longer than I'd hope for some good upgrades that'll help you keep going. But honestly, if you're really good at games like this, it may just be a walk in the park for a while for you. I know things get very difficult 3 or 4 levels in, so I just went into the 2nd level. Every time you're in a particular spot, there's actually a couple different levels you can go. Like, there's variations on the level, the 2nd levels, 3rd levels. There's just different places you can go each time. Of course, while I'm talking and commentating, it's difficult to play really well, so I apologize. Especially since this is my first video for the Switch. Generally, I'm a guy who plays PC games and does Let's Plays for PC games that are a little bit slower, so you can think about what you're doing and talking about. So, yeah. So my apologies if my gameplay isn't exactly like stellar. However, what I was saying is that you can basically, as you go through, each time you get through a level, there are basically branching paths, branching levels that you can go through, and they each have like their strengths, or basically their difficulties and their eases. Some of them are more difficult than others, but they also provide more benefits. Like clearly, there's a balance or a decision to be made whether or not you're going to invest more and make a more difficult run and gain more from it, or if you're yep, I should probably do something. Or if you're going to play it a little bit safe just so you can get farther through, because the more levels you get through, the closer to the bosses you get. And I think the bosses are every like 4 or 5 levels. I don't know if they're actually evenly spaced in that way, but I know that the first few are like that. So if you wanted to just kind of get through some of the levels, you can probably maybe choose one of the easier of the 2 branches. Although they're all very difficult, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of combat in every single level you go through. Some of the enemies are a little bit more difficult than others. These not these guys here, because they're not very difficult. But there's that one right there, the one on the bottom there with the sword. He's actually pretty difficult. He'll transport to you, or basically like teleport to you, and he also has a pretty difficult or pretty damaging sword too. So those enemies are pretty tough. And then there's a few others in other levels, obviously, clearly, that you're probably going to want to avoid if you aren't really interested in gaining mini cells and making a difficult run of it. See, I've actually lost enough life that I'm going to go ahead and use a potion here. I don't know if you guys are out there and you've ever played a video game while you're recording and commentating on it, you'll probably understand why maybe this isn't my best run, but it's okay. I'm not here to make excuses. I'm here to show you the game because I enjoy it. Drop those. Let them do their business. There you go. But yeah, that's the game basically, and it gets further. It gets harder and harder the further you go. I'm not gonna lie. There are a lot of opportunities for speed runs as well. So if you just want to get through things and get really fast and get through levels quickly, you actually gain access to particular rooms and stuff that you wouldn't had you just taken your time, like I'm taking my time now. You might find a door that unlocks, or I'm sorry, that locks after, you know, like 7 minutes into your run. So if you don't get there within 7 minutes, you're not going to open that door. And a lot of those doors are really awesome because you'll have like special weapons that you wouldn't get anywhere else. You'll get a lot of cells, you'll get stuff like that, which is just, you know, it makes the speed run worth it. It's difficult to do, especially since you don't know exactly where these doors are. So some of it's a little bit luck of the draw, but it is fun. It is fun to do and to work your way through. I've done it a few times. I've gained some really cool weapons as a result. In fact, a few of the better weapons I've gotten are a result of making my speed runs and finding those doors open. So we as players should definitely be on the lookout for this. This is something I don't know what it does yet. I'm sure I'll eventually unlock that. That's probably a skill that I'll pick up from a boss. These teleports are really great because you can go through and actually explore some of these like lower lower caves and stuff like that, and then quickly teleport back so that you're not like way out of the way. I don't know where this is gonna go. This is one of those doors. Cool. So this door was sealed 9 minutes ago, which means I needed to be way faster in order for me to get to that one. But that's okay, because I'm not doing a speed run. I wouldn't even be able to do a speed run and do this because I would probably just not talk. Alright, so balance blade. No, that's definitely not better than what I've got. I've got a pretty good little setup right now, so I'm enjoying this run. I really like the sinew slicer and the auto crossbow because it really does help me out at a pinch. Oh, there's spikes. I didn't even see them until the last second. And then the swords that I've got right now too are great. They're really kind of cutting through these things, so I'm digging it. We'll wait till the come through, do that. But yeah, so there's so many good things about this game. There's a reason why a lot of people are talking about this. And in fact, I'm so blown away by how many good Metroidvania-like games are out on the Switch right now. I'm a huge Metroidvania fan. Games like Hollow Knight, Iconoclasts, now, you know, Dead Cells. There's just so many right now that are just well worth your time. And Dead Cells needs to be on your list. If this is a game that even looks closely, remotely, somewhat fun to you, I would definitely invest in it. I think it's only $20, $25 from the French developers, Motion Twin. It's one of their first real games. They've done some mobile games and stuff like that I saw, but this is their first like real console game, and they blew it out of the water in my opinion. And I think what really helped them too was the Steam early access period, where they were able to fine-tune a lot of the stuff that they needed to do to make this game better and to make it great. Because even when it was first out, even when it first came out on Steam access, early access, people were talking about it. People were saying this is a great game. I think what they did with the early access period was make it just an absolute excellent, fine, shining example of what the indie movement can do. Because I'm enjoying this game more than I enjoy most AAA games. So that's saying something. And the price point's perfect. $25 for a game that I've already gotten 12, 13 hours of. I could easily get 3 or 4 times that amount out of it because I'm just really enjoying it that much. So anyways, like I said, I gave this game a 9.5 out of 10. I recommend you play it if you like it. If you like any kind of side-scrolling game, any challenging game. It doesn't even need to be that challenging. Like I said, the more you make runs, the easier it becomes, although it still does remain somewhat challenging. But if you guys like Metroidvanias, you like roguelikes, if you like games that give you like a pretty awesome progression system, and if you like combat, pixels, great pixels, good games, if you like any of that, I would pick up Dead Cells. Like I said, $25 on the eShop. and it's coming out with a physical release soon too. And that's about it. I hope you enjoyed what you've seen. Thanks for watching. As I said, this is my first video, so I'm open to any comments, criticisms, or complaints, I guess, if you really want to complain. But until next time, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time. And stay tuned for more Nindie Nexus awesomeness. Bye, guys.